And welcome to My Tennis Coach Academy here at mytenniscoaching.com. As always, I'm your host and coach developer, Steve Whelan. I hope you're all well. And in today's video masterclass, we're going to look at or explore changing direction. In today's video-based lesson, we have an under-9 female player, and I'm going to try and encourage her to change direction from a both-back situation. Now, this is a little bit unique because previously, following a traditional coaching method, I'll just tell the player when to change direction. Change direction on the short ball, change direction on the inside shot. However, as we know, following the ecological dynamics approach, every player is unique. Every player will see the game differently. Players will see affordances or opportunities to change direction based on their own perspective, but also their own skill capacity as well. So it doesn't quite work. When I would change direction, when you would change direction, will be two completely different ways. So with players, they will see the game differently. Therefore, they'll change direction differently. And yes, so today's video is a little bit different. I've not watched the video back. The video was filmed a week ago. As always with these masterclasses, they're live. They're not staged. They're not actors. I'm not bringing in a under 10 player to play at Orange. This is a real life lesson, a player who is developing her game on the orange court. And the lesson originally was I wanted her to explore changing height when changing direction. But you'll see in the video with the first practice, things don't quite go to plan. And I have to sort of coach in the moment, and we sort of divert our original intention, or my original intention, because I wasn't quite getting the success I wanted. And I'll touch upon that in the video. So the way this is going to work, if you're new to these masterclasses, I'm going to show the video. I'll probably stop it every now and then and do some hot reflections or give some insights to maybe what I was thinking at the time. But I also may reflect on the coaching as well, and I might highlight some good coaching practice, or I may see stuff that I'm like, oh, I'm not too sure I should have said that, or I could have worded that a little bit differently. So I'm going to stop it as well. But I'm going to share my screen now. I am mic'd up for this one as well, so you'll be able to hear me communicate with the player. We've just done the warm-up, so let me just set the scene a little bit. And we're going to play.
All right, so full line of action, I've done a warm-up. We're going to do some cross-court points. There's going to be a couple of different levels to this. Level 1, you've got control. Start the point cross-court. We'll swap sides, go left and right. So we've got red side and blue side, make it easy to follow. Serve, play the point out. If you decide to keep the ball red to red, so only cross, point is only worth 1. If you choose to change direction at any time and go to blue, the point is now worth 3.
Yes, sir. And I can even an angle.
I can only hit to red unless you change direction. Once you change direction, anything goes. Anything goes. Anyone. And you can hit anyone. The challenge here, what I way to think about as we go through the first level, is when do you change? I'm not allowed to change it. When do you change direction and choose to go down the line? Once you change it, the point actually goes 3. Now, you might not want to change it. You might be quite happy going cross court. That's only worth 1.
When I change,
They get 3. Yes, if we only ever play red to red, only worth 1. Give it a go.
So just to make that pretty clear, so the intention of the exercise is to get the player to explore when to change. So we're going to play points. Only the player can change direction. So I'm not allowed to change direction. If the player does not change direction, the point is worth 1. If and when the player changes direction, the point then becomes worth 3. So what I'm trying to do there is make the change of direction attractive for the player to go for. However, with both players winning 3 points, the player's got to be quite clever when to change, because if they change it at the wrong time, they could end up losing 3 points. So that's the intention. I've set the intention for the player, just given the player the rules of the game. And yeah, apologies for the microphone as well. So the microphone's clipped to me, and obviously with it being tennis, I'm moving quite a lot, so there's a little bit of a clicking noise. So hopefully that's not too distracting.
Next serve. Maybe we'll serve 2. Maybe so you serve red, then serve blue, and I'll serve red and blue. Makes sense.
Well, you serve. You can serve, but like I can.
You can change direction on the return.
Got it.
Can't change direction on the serve.
Yeah.
In the serve, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Pop it down.
Oh.
These are my talking against me. Right, here we go. It is up.
Serve.
All right. Passing it to you. I'm passing it to you. Right, put in. Yep, red side. Let's go. Second up.
I'm just going to lower the volume because that noise is actually really annoying. So in terms of coach's lens here, coach's eye, I'm looking at, okay, is the player brave enough to change direction? When does she look to change? And I don't want to give her too much information. I don't want to give her any sort of guidelines or make it too obvious when I would change. And my role here is I've just got to keep the ball cross. I'm trying to play my sort of best orange tennis. So obviously if she leaves me something short, I might be a bit more aggressive. Obviously if she pushes me back, I'm going to be a bit more defensive. Probably out, actually, looking at that hot reflection. Jen was called by me. But interesting here watching this back, because again, I'm looking at the behavior of the player, and she's obviously a little bit nervous, a little bit tight. So she's changed direction now. So it's now worth 3. If it didn't quite catch it, I think we're playing to 18 points as well. Very late call by me. This sort of first part of the lesson, I'm just sort of assessing the player as such.
Have to answer this question, but maybe stuff to just mull over. But I don't have to answer. How many cross-court battles are you winning? Okay. We've only seen one change direction. Has there been opportunities to change earlier? Things to think about here. You know, we're going to unpack and sort of pull on stuff as we go through the session.
So I've sort of just brought awareness to that there. So I've not told her what I've witnessed, but okay, she's losing the cross-court battle. So I'm winning the cross-court battles. She's only changed direction once. Has she seen opportunities potentially? And on reflection here, I think a lot of it, she looks quite hesitant. She looks quite nervous. She's not looking very confident. And part of that is maybe, okay, is she just trying to work out when to change? And you can see there's the slight hesitation in when she's playing. Obviously, I think the serve's in there. I've returned and she stopped. And this is the reason why I sort of divert the session, because in this first part here, I was expecting more changes of direction, but we're not quite seeing it. And I don't think it's a lack of that she can't change direction. I don't think it was a situation where she didn't know when to change direction, because you'll find out in a few minutes she actually is quite clever and she knows potentially when to change. I just think this is a confidence thing. And that's why I quite like these games where you put some risk and reward on. So obviously she gets the reward if she changes direction and wins, but obviously if she loses it, then she loses the point as well. So I'm just trying to get her to really, can she be confident in changing? Then can she see when to change? And then what choices does she have when to change? And at the moment, some coaches may jump in here and go, "Oh, it's technical." Like she's hitting the ball, like the backhand, she hit the ball a little bit too early a few times. She's a little bit late on quite a few shots as well. So I look at it a little bit differently. I'm looking at, okay, look at the state of the player. She doesn't look very confident here. She doesn't look very comfortable. She's quite hesitant. And that's going to affect everything else that comes afterwards. So that's why I decided not to go with the using the height to change direction. And I had, you probably see the posts, and now I had posts stuck in, and we are going to extend the net and have a little explore around changing heights. But I decided not to after this initial warm-up game, and that's what it is. It's sort of just an exploration game where, okay, can the player change? When do they change? And then we'll build it from there. And so even there, she probably had a chance to change direction, but she chose to go back cross court. So that's what I'm looking at in this initial stage of the session. And you can see with, I know I've muted it a little bit, but you can see with my communications to the player, I'm not just jumping straight in and teaching. I'm still giving her opportunities. I stopped it halfway through, brought awareness to maybe, okay, is she winning the cross court battle? No. Is she looking to change direction? Does she have opportunity to change direction? Still not seeing it just yet.
Oh, why not? Have a drink.
So this is like my first intervention now. I did a mini intervention halfway through. But this is my first intervention, so maybe just sort of I'll pay attention, because I can't remember quite what I said here. But maybe let's just pay attention to what I say and how I word stuff. Because I know, again, thinking back to the lesson and seeing it again, I've not really seen a change of direction. I think we only seen one or two change direction in that entire tiebreak.
Oh, well. Shout after the gym. What do you believe the intention was of the game? What was the aim of the game? What were you trying to have a look at? I wouldn't quite say how well. It's more about do you change and when do you change? Do you change? Often? Yeah, so in all those points, we had 3 changes in direction in the wing. One about six points in, and then 2 right at the very end. And the 2 at the very end were a deliberate change direction or just by accident. So they were okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Tried pushing me deep. Okay.
You can't quite hear what she's saying there, but I do remember. So I said the last couple of points there, you did try and change direction. Was that by accident or by design? And what she's saying to me here is, oh, I tried to push you deep to get a short ball, and then I tried to change off the short ball.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like that idea. Okay, pushing wide and maybe getting a what type of ball might you want to get back? So by pulling me out wide with a serve, what type of ball are you trying to get back? Okay. The question I asked you sort of halfway through the game is how often did you win the cross-ball battle? Why was it quite challenging to win the cross-ball battle? Why was it quite challenging to push me back? Why was that quite hard? Yeah. The balance was nice. Okay. Is there any other opportunity for you to change direction? So rather than, so obviously I like the idea of pushing me back in deep. Quite challenging with an orange ball to do that because it's quite slow. When it bounces, it sort of sits up. Like a yellow ball, a crystal boat that's going to kick back at me. It's quite challenging to do that. I think when you get bigger, a bit stronger, a bit uglier, that maybe a challenge.
And that's a really interesting point. And I think like a lot of coaches will try and get these kids to, okay, push your opponent back with the orange ball, but the orange ball's so slow and it just sits up. And this is where the fakeness of a private lesson comes in, because I'm a 41-year-old male at this point. She's not going to push me back. She can't hit the ball heavy enough. And no matter how hard I try to play like a 9-year-old, I'm still instinctively going to play with balance. So you can almost see there that the constraint of the exercise of her opponent, in this case me, is working against her. If I put another 9-year-old in, she might have had more success in that first game because she didn't push me back. She couldn't get me off balance to get the short ball. Whereas if she's playing with another 9-year-old, she might have found a little bit more success. Now, you may say, oh, okay, if she's playing against a higher level orange player, then they're not going to be off balance. So she might get some value out of it there. But this is, again, this is the downside to private lessons. So we're looking at something here, and even me in hot reflection, I've done this a few times now when I've watched these videos back. You look at it and go, yeah, but if that was a 9-year-old at far end, we might not see the issue that we're seeing. Because at the minute, the issue is she's not changing direction. And she's tried a couple of things, which is great, which she said there. She's tried to push me deep. She's tried to push me wide. So she's looking to get the short ball. And she hasn't changed that often because she hasn't got many short balls because I've not given it to her. I mentioned at the start of this masterclass that I'm trying to play realistically. If she pushes me deep, I'm going to give her a short ball. If she hits the ball short, I'm going to hit the ball deep to her. I'm trying to maintain that realism. So again, this is a downside of private lessons. Like, it'd be really more beneficial possibly there if she had a 9-year-old. But we are going to address that as the session goes forwards. But like, so logically, I can see what she's trying to do. She just hasn't quite got the physical skill yet to do it, especially against a 41-year-old 80-kilogram sort of male.
That might be definitely something you could explore. Is there any other opportunities that we've changed direction? Don't have to answer now. I'd be looking for maybe slightly different opportunities. It's not just only one way you can do it, that's still. Surely there's multiple. And I think one thing I would definitely look at is it has to be something that we feel quite confident doing. Like you see maybe a certain type of ball, a certain position that I'm in, or a certain position you're in, yeah, I'm going to go after that one. Yeah, so it could be based on where you're stood on the ball. It could be the type of ball I give you. It could be my position. It could just be you feel like, oh, I can hit that ball that way. Very difficult because you've got such little time. You can't like go, and start working it out. I believe it's got to be almost, you have to see someone go, okay, that's it. I'm going to try now. But that's what we're going to explore over the next couple of weeks. So it's quite good that we didn't have many change directions. It showed us probably something we need to look at. The whole idea of having lessons on. So, shall we have another go? Same thing. Last time we got 2 points. We didn't win a change of direction. But what I'd like you to explore here is just explore. I would try changing it lots of different things. You may find something that you've not gone for. Now's the time to practice, isn't it? Now's the time to explore. What do you get if you win today? What do you get if you win today? What do I get? So what a great time just to try some stuff. Yeah, we'd like to win, but at the end of the day, it's not going to win anything. So I would look to put that exploration onto it now and just really explore the different ways of changing it. You may find something that's not before. That's what it's all about. All right, give it.
So I'd let the video play and just do a bit of a hot reflection on that intervention. First things first, I mean, the intervention is a bit long. Watching it back there, I think it's a little bit too long. I am asking a lot of questions, which is great. Some of them are quite leading questions, though, where I'm sort of guiding her towards the answer a bit too much. It's something that I'm currently working on within my own coaching, sort of my interventions and making them a bit more effective. I'll be sharing some of that stuff as we go forwards over the next couple of masterclasses and sort of content wise. Because I think interventions are quite important. I don't think I needed to speak as much there. I think the last bit was gold. Like just explore different ways. At the minute, what you're doing is not quite working because again, she was trying to play a very structured tennis, hit the ball there, get this ball back, but it wasn't happening. And even though she kept trying it and kept trying it and kept trying it and kept trying it, she didn't get any success. So she didn't know how to change it. So what I've said to her there is just go out and try different things then. Because at the minute, what you're trying is not working. Go out and just try different things. Try and find different ways to change direction. And I've given her a bit of a prompt. It has to be something you feel comfortable in doing. Yeah, don't change direction if you're not comfortable. Can you use your strengths, basically? Kids always waves to the camera. So yeah, intervention a bit too long, a little bit leading at times, but something that I know I'm working on personally at the moment. So what I'm looking at here now is, okay, can I see a change? So before, like, she wasn't brave enough to change, whereas already in the first couple of points here, she's looking to change it now. And even though she's not getting the success, yeah, I remember back now in this sort of second set or second practice, I start becoming a lot happier because she starts taking a bit more risk. So she's starting to explore. She's starting to actually have a go. That's good there because she actually gets me wide and she gets a short ball and she changes. So what I'm trying to do there, I don't know if I was successful or not. Like she's changed direction 3 times, she's lost 3 times, but I don't want her to lose heart because obviously she's going to realize that she hasn't quite got the outcome. But in terms of process, she's improved there because we've had 3 points and she's had 3 changes, which is what we want. We want to see her change more. We don't want her getting engaged in a cross court battle, and that's where the first part of the session was breaking down. She was trying to out rally me cross, but she couldn't get me off balance. Whereas now she's trying to be a bit more creative with her changes, which is what we want. As always, if you watched my lessons or my masterclass here, it's all points. We're just playing tennis, but we're working on very specific parts of her game within the game. So we're not basket drilling cross courts here. So again, the way I would have done this years ago would have been 2 cross 1 line, hit 2 balls cross, third ball short, then you change direction. So very structured, very regimented, very repetition with repetition. Whereas now I'm trying to get repetition without repetition. I'm trying to get her. It's the decision making element here. Okay, can she see the opportunity to change? Can she pick the right ball to change on, and then can she execute? And there's no point looking at the execution if she doesn't know when. And this is a conversation I've had quite a lot recently with coaches. Like you can't explicitly tell someone to change because, like I mentioned at the very start of the masterclass, I might change when you might not. You might go cross. You might change on a completely different type of ball that I would feel comfortable changing on. And I mentioned to the player there, like it goes down to your own skill capacity or capability. Like we change direction on shots we feel confident which we can change. We tend to go back cross court if we don't feel confident. And that's again, we know our own ability. We know what shots we can and can't make, or what shots might be high risk and what shots might be low risk. So you can see now she's starting to change direction, inside shot, and she's changing quite a lot now. And she's getting me to move a little bit more. Okay, I lost that on purpose. You can probably tell, maybe it's a bit too obvious. And again, I'll say it again. Watching it back, it's hard for the player here because it's so fake. She may have won that point once or twice before I dipped the volley and dropped the volley into the net against a fellow 9-year-old. Like they're not going to make as many shots as that I make.
That's all. Out of interest, on that very last shot you hit, what made you try and change? What did you see? So I went deep cross with a really quite high, not quick ball, but quite high with lots of spin. And you tried to go down the line. I think you tried to go down the line. Or did you just hit it in the post? Oh, right. Okay, that's fine. Is there anything that you've seen that you thought, oh, okay, got a chance to go down the line here? What made you make that decision? And there's no right or wrong answer, just whatever you've seen. What helped you make that choice? Okay, don't have to. But once you change it once, you can do whatever you want. You can go back cross court. You don't have to keep changing. Okay? On reflection, now we're talking about how easy was it to change on that ball? What made it quite challenging to change on that one? So there's that, and that's the game we've got to play here. It's trying to recognise when you have invitation to change, and sometimes when the invitation doesn't look that good, to go, no, okay, I'm okay. I don't want to go to that down the line party. I'll go to the crossbow place. When you get the invitation, you go, oh, that looks a bit more inviting. Then you take it down the line. And that's what we're going to explore the next week. Okay, can I pick the best invitation to the best party? I don't want to go to the party with my friends.
Yeah.
When there's no music, no one's dancing.
In
Exactly.
parties, they don't dance.
And 3 points made for 64. 18. I need 2 to win.
So again, that little intervention there, like I decided to intervene on the shot, and again, I don't tell her because, like, again, a few years ago, I said, look, that ball was too deep and too high to change direction. You push too far back. But I'm trying to get her to recognize. Okay, so I again very explicitly tell her, okay, there was a high loopy ball that landed quite deep. You tried to change direction. What invitation did the ball give you? Was it a good invitation or quite a challenging invitation? So I'm trying to bring awareness to when not to change. I'm pretty sure, and I've muted it there. Like on that one, I'm saying, well, that ball was a little bit different because even though it was a little bit, it was going high, it landed a lot shorter. Then you found it a lot easier to change direction on there. So again, I'm just trying to bring awareness to when she changes direction positively, but sometimes when she's really under challenge, not say that's wrong, but try and bring awareness to it. And I've mentioned a few times, like, it's something that I'm working on in terms of my interventions. Again, I think the intervention there in the middle was a little bit too long. And again, we're now engaged in another sort of discussion here. And I go, I'm sorry that I've muted it, but I'm literally telling about angles of the court here, like big angles, small angles. And it's one of those things that I'm trying to find a balance with at the moment with my coaching. Like I think the interventions are quite key. But I am worried that, okay, is there too many interventions? And that's always the balance with this type of coaching, because it's so, even though it's constraint led, even though it's point play, I'm a play in the game, there's quite a lot of stuff going on. Like you can't just hope that she's going to find it. We do have to explore it and find it as well. So I am trying to find a balance with my interventions, which will be in a future masterclass, I think, going forwards. But as this second set's playing out, I'm happy here because I am now starting to see more changes of direction. So she's being a lot braver. So again, she picked the right time there to change. Quite a difficult one to do. She hasn't quite got the skill there to guide that ball down the line. But happier as a coach, and you can see why I went off tangent. I didn't quite carry out my my intention of the change of height, which is probably going to be a session we're going to look at in a couple of weeks. I've not seen this player since this video. So I decided to redo the game again, bring some awareness to, she's got to be a little bit braver. She's got to maybe look for it a little bit earlier. She's got to sort of try stuff maybe that she's not been taught by another coach. Like, and she said herself, didn't she? Like, hit the ball deep, get player wide, get a short ball down the line. And I can tell you now, this player's done a lot of that stuff for other coaches where she's hit cross, short ball line. But as you see in a match, she hasn't got it. And it goes, and this to me highlights one of the issues with traditional coaching. Like she's drilled so many times, short ball line, first ball cross, short ball line to change direction. In a match, she might not get that opportunity. So she's got to find other affordances, other opportunities. So we're going to go back in and hear what I'm saying.
So what the best? I don't want to know what you said. But what was great about that one in particular, I'm really happy with, is you just suddenly see the opportunity to change and you just change. And that's what is going to make the huge difference. It's not about how to change, but can I pick the right invitation? And then what we'll look at next week is, okay, well, now I know a bit more of when to change. How can I be a bit more effective with it? Obviously, if you change, we hopefully want to go on to win points, don't we? Well, at the minute, we've gone from not changing to changing quite a lot and winning a couple of points. Now, what I want to get towards the end of term, we get towards May half term, 2 weeks. We want to see you winning more of those points. Like May.
Yeah.
Baby's due in May.
And look at my birthday.
Oh, is it? When's your birthday? The baby's due on the 16th. Imagine if the baby comes on your birthday. It's also James Bonning's birthday, and his birthday is 12th May.
So yeah, just discussing baby. So as the time of recording, I've got a baby due next week. So yeah, very exciting times. Obviously, my players are quite excited for me as well. But back to the lesson at hand. Yeah, I'm quite happy that I'm just on reflection. I think the intervention's a little bit too long, but to like what I'm thinking in my head, like this is an awareness session. Like I'm trying to bring awareness to the player of when to change. I don't want to be explicit and say change on a short ball, change on the inside shot, change in these situations. I'm trying to get her to explore it. So the game itself, because it's a little bit open, she may not see or recognize the affordances. So I'm trying to justify how much I'm talking here. Like maybe this is the right level of bringing it to her attention. But I'm going to stop it there because the second set, the third set is just a normal tie break to finish it off. But that's the masterclass. So that was the lesson. Very non-linear. So we had a intention of, okay, can the player change direction? The original intention is we're going to explore changing direction with different heights. But in the first practice where the player was given the incentive or the affordance of the attractive 3 points to change direction, she didn't change. So again, looking at what was happening on the court in the moment, I decided, okay, I'm not going to look at change of direction with height because at the moment I'm not seeing any change of direction. Can we redo the practice again? Let's have another go. And can we maybe bring a bit more awareness to it? And I talked on camera here, and I talked a little bit within the session. Like a lot of it was just her being brave enough to change. She mentioned herself, she was trying to change on certain patterns, hit the ball deep, short ball line, hit the ball wide, short ball line. But those patterns weren't emerging in the game because, again, tennis is not a pattern. And I have these conversations all the time. Like you can't say if the ball lands here, you should do X, Y, and Z because there's too many variables at play. The ball will have lots of variation. The opponent's position will have lots of variation. The player's position is very lots of variation as well. So it's very difficult to put patterns in play. And that's where the player, I think, struggled at the start. She was looking for these patterns of play. They weren't emerging. Therefore, she wasn't changing direction. I tried to bring awareness to it. Okay, the pattern you're trying isn't working. You're going to have to be a little bit braver and maybe look to change when you're not been told to change. I mentioned before, the player's been told to change quite a lot. And then what we've seen in the second one was that it started to emerge. And I think takeaways for me watching back, I think things I did really well was I didn't explicitly tell her when to change. She still had the empowerment and the autonomy to change when she wanted. I didn't tell her, okay, that's when you should change. That was perfect. Change on that one more often. It was more the player exploring when to change, when she felt comfortable and confident to change. I thought I did that really well. Area of work, I think the interventions maybe a little bit too long. That's something that I'm really working on at the moment. A lot of the interventions were very coach-led as well. And I'm currently working on a theory called player first, coach second, where I want those interventions to be more player-led and the player does a lot of the talking and I do much more of the listening. And I'm going to sort of show you and explore a lot of that stuff with you over the next couple of months within my Tennis Coach Academy. As always, I hope you enjoyed that masterclass. It's always a bit weird watching yourself coach back, but I definitely highly recommend it. Stick a camera up at the back of the court, stick a microphone on. Don't put the microphone on your tracksuit joggers because it makes that awful clicky noises. I thought I was being smart. So my theory was if I put the microphone on my trousers, I wouldn't be shouting because I've got quite a loud voice. When I put the microphone here, it's really overpowering on the microphone and it sounds like really crackly. So I thought I've put it lower. It won't be as overpowering. I didn't take in consideration I'll be moving my feet quite a lot, so that's why you got the clicking noise. So lesson learned there as well. But definitely film yourself coaching, and I think it's really empowering if you watch it back because the stuff that I think okay, I need to do that a little bit better. And that's what's great about these masterclasses. It's not only a hot reflection for me, but also you can sort of see from my mistakes as well. It's not about me saying, "Oh, look how great I am at coaching." I think coaching is very open and subjective. But yeah, hope you enjoy that masterclass. I did mention in the video at the time of recording, May the 9th, I am due a baby any day now. So apologies if content is a little bit slow going out over the next couple of weeks. I hope you understand. I will send communications out when the baby's due, but the plan for the next few weeks is it won't be video based stuff, it'll be written based content. So hopefully I'll be able to get that stuff done when I've got the sleepless nights. As always, please send me an email, steve@mytenniscoaching.com. Enjoy the rest of the academy. As always, jump into the coach forum, leave some thoughts and comments in there. The community is growing, so thank you so much for helping grow the community. We've got coaches now from most continents in the world, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next masterclass.